Now, is it visible? Friends, is it
Yes, sir.
visible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. But whenever there is a problem, please tell me because I can't see because it is a full screen. Friends, this topic which I have chosen, if all of us understand correctly, and we are going to implement in our regular life, I am very sure it will take us through our life journey without much stress and stuff. Please also note, I am humbly submitting to you, these are all not my original ideas. I have done a lot of reading and lot of interaction with very different types of people. Some of these things I have picked up from them. Of course, a few are my own. Which are those few? I hope I will tell you if I remember correctly. But these ideas of great personalities, I have put my own shine on them. That means I have put my own type of color for them. Therefore, I am going to make presentation. Only one request I want to make to you. After each concept, I will wait for a minute. Please tell me your feedback or any questions you want, any clarification you want. For heaven's sake, please do not hesitate. Please tell me. Okay. With that, I am proceeding further. Now, what are these 10 concepts? One is known as G3, another is known as EFTB, third is known as NBH-UGH, fourth is 3 subskills, fifth is PQPB, sixth is 30 and 3, 7 is limiting beliefs, 8 is mindset. Actually, mindset is much more expansion, fixed mindset and growth mindset. 9th is Adama and Pradama, 10 is DFA. Now, I will start with the G3. You will be wondering what is this G3 is. Please remember, when I say G3, I am referring to God-given gap. I don't know how many people have heard of the word synapse. Maybe people are in the medical field, or people have done some scientific studies of science, they may be knowing. The word is synapse, SYNAPSE. Technically, it means in our nervous system, a synapse is a structure which allows one neuron or one nerve cell to pass on electrical or chemical signals from one neuron to other neuron through a small junction, which is sort of U-shaped, very, very small junction. But now you may say, in which way this idea of synapse will help us? I call this as a God-given gap. This is such an infinitesimal gap. The message from one neuron to another neuron sits for a nanosecond. That means 1 billionth of a second. Please remember I am saying the neuron passes on the message, whether chemical or electrical message from one neuron to other neuron. It doesn't just go like that. It stops for a nanosecond, 1 billionth of a second in that gap. Then the lesson for us is, please remember, in our brain, I was told we are having 80 billion neurons. And in our mind, if one neuron takes a nanosecond to pass, PAUSE, to pass on the message, what stops us to pass, again PAUSE, for a minute or two before we react? The main idea is, once we pass, reflect and act, then it becomes a response. Otherwise, it becomes a reaction. Most of you would have seen the TV debates. In the TV debates, 2 parties or 3 parties are talking, and each fellow is countering each other, and they finally end up in 2-2 minus. That means almost in some cases of debate, I have found they are almost coming to blows. Even the anchor sometimes in a position to, not in a position to manage them. Therefore, if you remember the concept of G3, that means synapse, please remember you will pause, reflect, and then reply. Then it will become a response and not a reaction. Therefore, please remember, we are facing different difficult situations every day. Then, whenever you have to take a decision and whenever you have to give a reply, please remember the word synapse and pause for a second or a minute or 5 minutes. Please stop the resist and urge within us to take action. Sometimes we want to make a passive statement or aggressive statement. Sometimes out of disgust we say we agree with you. But please don't do that. Think of synapse. Stay for a second, stay for a minute, stay for 2 minutes. Take a deep breath. If it is possible, take a long walk or a small walk. Write it down. Please remember, in your house, grandfathers, fathers, mother, aunts, everybody is there with small kids. If somebody is going to knock at the door, who will run there? Not the grandfather or father or mother. Youngest kid will run, daddy or mummy or Buttachan or tata or grandfather, somebody has come. But please remember, we are no more children. We are facing a lot of situations in our life journey. Therefore, please remember the mantra, pause, reflect, and respond. That is what I say. Remember synapse, God given gap. Friends, till now, any question, any clarification? Nothing is there, I'll proceed further. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead, sir.
But somebody has to respond, otherwise I will not be knowing. Achha. Now coming to the second concept, that is known as EFTB. This is slightly a tough subject. Every feeling is thought-based. Please remember one of the famous Roman emperor by name Marcus Aurelius. He was an emperor from 161 to 180, and also a famous Stoic philosopher. Out of the 5 top-class very benevolent emperors, this Marcus Aurelius is one. He said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Now, this idea may be very difficult for you to accept it, because most of the time you are thinking that feelings come from heart and thoughts come from mind. But I am of the strong opinion, after a lot of study and personal experiences, that except physical feelings like hunger, thirst, and evacuation, all other feelings are thought-based. In this connection, I want to quote Shakespeare, who says, "But there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And also famous French philosopher René Descartes, who said in Latin, "Cogito ergo sum," which means I think, therefore I am. But in Eastern philosophy, we say, I am, therefore I think. Yet bhavan tad bhavati, which means as you think, so you become. Our feelings come on the basis of what we think about who said and what was said and how we interpret. Please remember, think of a situation maybe 2 years back or 3 years back or 5 years back. Somebody has insulted you, your boss or maybe your colleague, your senior colleague or somebody in an open meeting, he has insulted you. If you recollect that situation, even now, the slight feeling of anger comes to you. Though the incident has happened 2 to 3 years back. But for our limited purpose of understanding the concept of EFTB, that is every feeling thought-based, I would like to state that on the basis of our thinking, our thoughts and emotions and feelings. Please remember to make a difference between the feelings and impulses. Impulses come like a quick feeling, a small, suddenly it comes. Therefore, we say somebody is continuously acting on feeling instead of feelings on emotions or on impulses, we say that fellow is very impulsive. Impulses are short, quick feelings, and therefore, if somebody acts on them, we are going to call them as very impulsive. But you also think of some wonderful time you have spent with your parents, with your siblings, close friends on a beautiful beach, or you went to a beautiful garden and you saw the beautiful garden there, automatically a smile and happiness descends on you. Though this has happened 1 year back or 2 years back. Please remember, when you think of that, good feelings come. Therefore, it is scientifically proved that only one major thought can occupy the mind. In this connection, I would like to say the importance of mantras. People chant mantras. When you are chanting a mantra, Om Bhurbhuvassu Vatatsa Viturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. No other thought will come to your mind, because a single major thought will be there in your mind. Therefore, somebody says, if you are disturbed, if your negative thoughts are coming, if something is troubling you, chant the mantra. Please also remember bhajans, people call about. In our olden days, people used to participate in bhajans. Even now, some of the groups are there, Vishnu Sahasranama group, or things like that. Why? Because thoughts will not be there when you are chanting the mantra. Please remember, if you modify your thoughts, automatically your feelings will change. That is why present day psychologists talk about having positive attitude, frame of mind, which can come through constant practice. Now I request Sunanda to play a small video clip by name Garbage Truck. Sunanda, are you there?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
I can keep my PPT like this, isn't it?
Yeah, just a minute.
Now I want my friends to have a look at this hardly 2 minutes video clip. Recently I got it, and it is slightly connected with what I'm talking about.
Madeline, you can try. Can share now.
Pardon, Sunanda?
Yeah, Marilyn will do, sir.
Okay.
So let me know if you can hear the audio because my Google Meet on the laptop doesn't really work. So let me know if you can hear the audio, okay?
You can tell me?
I'll try sharing, sir. Let me know if you can hear the audio on my screen.
I couldn't get you again. I have
Yeah,
to.
you can share now, Madeline.
Let me share it. I thought of sharing myself, but sometimes I get mixed up. I'm not
Can you
as.
see? I cannot share unless you unshare your screen, sir.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, then don't worry about that. Leave
No,
that.
sir, you can stop sharing.
Then she will go. She
Yeah,
can go?
yeah.
Okay, I stop sharing.
Yeah,
Can
thank
you
you, sir.
see?
Yeah, now you can try, Madeline.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me know if you can hear this.
It's visible.
Okay. Play along with the audio.
Audio is not coming.
Audio is not come.
Can you share it, Sunanda? My audio is not working on my laptop for the Google Meet.
Okay.
Is it possible?
Sunanda, don't worry. We will skip if it is difficult. Okay?
Okay, sir. Now you can share your PPT, sir.
Okay. Then where is my PPT? That is what I said. I will have found it difficult to operate both. Okay. Is coming?
Yeah, it's coming, sir.
Now, can I make a present? Start the one? It is coming?
Yes, sir, it's coming. It's clear.
Now I come to the third concept. NBH, UGH. It is slightly linked to the previous concept. But here, what I want to say definitely is, nobody can hurt you unless you want to get hurt. You'll be wondering, how can it be possible? Please remember, I am not referring to physical hurt. Actually, this idea is a corollary to the previous idea of EFTD. That means every field is previous. It all depends on what importance we are giving to a person or to a situation. For example, long back in your class, your professor, though you are a topper, you are a first class student, your favorite, suddenly your professor calls you idiot. Before all your classmates, you feel humiliated and insulted. Though in your heart of heart, you know your professor, that professor is having good opinion about you, but even then, you may get hurt. But think of a close friend. In a group of friends, you are talking with each other. Suddenly, your friend calls an idiot. What you will do? You will laugh at him and say, "You are an idiot." Or you give him a mark and laugh at him. Please remember, Mahatma Gandhi said, "No one can hurt me without my permission." Please remember, it is an insight that can help us to shift our perspective. But the issue is what to do, how we are getting hurt, what makes us get hurt. Think of a room with light, but the light switch is outside. Somebody can operate the switch and make your room dark or put the light on. That means switch is outside your room. Like that, most of the time, because of our thinking, we are giving the switch to the outsider. My suggestion is keep the switch with you. Therefore, please allow to remember in your mind that nobody can hurt you except physical hurt. If we are willing to allow others to determine how we feel, what we are doing, what opinion we should hold, then our life is going to be controlled. If somebody hurt you, that means we are giving to that person more importance than to ourselves. And we are giving the control, as I was talking to you, about the switch to the other person to determine how we should feel or think. That means our autonomy, our discretion, our ability to live our own life, we are put in somebody's hands. Remember, it is one thing to listen to someone's loving, caring, and kind word if they want to bring best in us. But it is not proper to accept others' point of view as more relevant, important than our own, unless, please remember, unless you have verified the statement or facts and verifiable truths. I don't know how many people are aware of the concept of TA. If anybody has read the transaction analysis, in that, Bhutay Ramanathan is a very famous expert in that. There is a egogram or ego states are the parent, adult, and child. And it is clearly stated if somebody says it is your parent which gives a kick to your child and you feel hurt. But I don't want to elaborate on this TA theory, but I will suggest please try to purchase this book, I Am Okay, You Are Okay, by Thomas Harris. And after reading that, you also try to purchase Staying Okay by his wife, Dr. Annie Harris. These two books will give lot of understanding about the concept of TA. Therefore, please try to get those things. Therefore, I don't want to spend more time on TA. Now, I am coming to the concept of three circles. Here, I made part A, part B. One is dealing with self, another is dealing with others. Remember, in every person has three circles: inner circle, middle circle, and outer circle. The first circle is known as circle of control, second one is known as circle of influence, and third one is known as circle of control, influence, and concern. Top circle is concern, middle circle is influence, inner circle is control. What is this? Inner circle means you are having full authority on what you want to do, what type of friends you meet, what type of books you read, what type of company you maintain, what type of places you visit. All those things are under your control. And whether you are doing exercise or not, whether you are eating junk food or not, whether you are doing meditation or not, whether you are going for a walk or not, all those things are within your control. But circle of influence is where you will use your influence on your friends, on your siblings, on your disciples, by talking or initiating action, by pursuing them, by showing love and care. But always remember, whatever way you exercise your influence, it always depends upon other person whether to accept it and modify his behavior or change or not. Please remember, you can do your best, but the choice is for the other person whether to modify himself or not. Circle of concern is where you show concern about happenings in the community, world, society, country, everywhere. But your ideas, your actions, your feelings will not have an impact. Please remember. But most of the people get stressed thinking of those matters which fall in the circle. I know a lot of people who are worried about what will happen if Russia is going to win the Ukraine war, if Russia is going to get attacked by USA. All those things they are thinking and getting worried. And what will happen if this COVID spreads like wildfire and affects us? They are not under your control. Take necessary precautions. But if you are going to go on worry about that, you will be putting yourself in trouble. Now coming to the dealing with others. That circle is different from this circle, remember. When we are dealing with others, inner circle is circle of concern. Middle circle is circle of care. Outer circle is circle of control. People show concern in taking care of others, in thinking of others, in helping others. That concern will become care, so that you will take care of them also. But it becomes much more dangerous if it becomes a control. You become a controlling freak, thinking of asking them to do exactly what you want to do. And trying to, in a way, in a loving way, you will force them. Please remember, whether they require our guidance, advice or not, if you try to control their life, they will feel suffocated. Please remember that maybe we are trying to show in the guise of our love and affection, but it is going to suffocate them. Please remember, I quoted one small case. In UAE, one woman started divorce from the Sharia court, saying that husband shows so much concern, she is feeling stifled. That husband is not allowing her to do anything, including cooking, sweeping, everything, washing clothes, everything. Whatever she wants, she agrees. She wants to go take on a car ride, he will take. But he is not allowing her to do any single work. He is so affectionate and love, she felt choked. And she says that her life has become a hell because of her husband's generosity and lack of discard. And when she complained, he said, "You have become very obese." He started doing so vigorous exercise, he broke his leg also. And he says, "I'm taking care of my wife. Why she is unnecessarily complaining?" But the wife says, "I can't live in this imprisoned atmosphere. I want a divorce." You'll be surprised. Taking cognizance of the matter, the court finally permitted wife to divorce her husband. Therefore, remember, in the first circle of control is yours. Like the second circle, when you're dealing with others, circle of control, you should avoid. You can show concern and care, but they cannot control. But dealing with self, you should have the control. Now, I come to the fifth concept, known as PQPD. What I'm saying is, we request all of you, including me, you should practice the qualities of Panchabhuta. EWAAA. What are the Panchabhutas? Are five great elements. There are also five physical elements, which according to Hinduism is the basis of all cosmic creation. These are Earth, Prithvi, Bhudevi, Apas, Varuna, Jal or water, Agni, fire, Vayu, air, Akasha, space. Then you may ask me, in which way they are relevant, how to practice this? See this. Earth, as we progress in life, in our life journey, we should be firmly rooted in reality, not in a fake world or a dreamy world. We should be rooted firmly in reality, like in solid world. And also, please remember, we have to allow others also to a place to stand so that they will be with us in our lifetime. Like that, water, just water. We in our dealing should always be flexible and flow like water. You know how the water flows from different sides to different places. And like fire, we should be in a position to extend our warmth, love in our relationship, and at the same time, we should remember to burn away our ego and hamkara. Vayu and air, we should be in a position to feel and experience the air and let it go as the air touches and moves on. But most of the time, we are not doing that. Any experience, we'll catch hold of it, try to analyze it, try to look into that, and try to feel bad or good about it. But always, please try to live moment to moment. That means live in the present. Every moment changes, like the air we experience and let it go. Akash, space. We should create space for ourselves. And also remember to give space to others, and please remember to maintain space between relationships. Now, our sixth concept is concept of 30 and 3. This word is kind by me. In our relationship with others, please remember, some relationships may not work. Some relationships may so. People will be acting with the family, maybe with vengeance, maybe with whatever may be reason. Sometimes these relationships don't work. And they result in unpleasantness and unhappiness for sometimes one side, for sometimes both sides. When relationships so, blame begins. Each party says, "You are wrong, You have done this thing. Sometimes it results in self-flagellation. I hope you know that flagellation means taking a whip and beating oneself, thinking that I am responsible for spoiling relationship. Sometimes it may also result in one party feeling guilty and the other party feeling victimized. This type of situation may develop among friend circles, among relatives, in work situation. Please remember, if you are having 33 relations, 30 relations are relationships are working nicely. 3 may be not working properly. Would you like to concentrate on these 3 and feel bad about it? Or would you like to look at the 30 situation, 30 relationships where you are quite happy with them and feel happy about them? Please remember that this doesn't mean that we will not make efforts to repair the discordant relationships. But if it is beyond you, then accept it and move on. Like I said, like A, move on forward with the remaining 30 beautiful relationships. Please also remember, all of you are working offices, big offices, maybe regional office, zonal office, big companies. There also 30 people may like you. 3 people may not like you. They are going to spread canards or rumors about you because they are jealous of your popularity, prominence, and try to spoil your relationship with the top bosses. But remember, you cannot please anyone. Therefore, if think of those 30 number and feel happy about it, and these 3 protect yourself against them. And this, please remember, so many beautiful things are happening in every day. For example, you are looking at a beautiful flower, sun rising or sun setting, feeling the cool breeze on your face, talking to a lively child, observing the smile of it, thinking the face of an old woman, loving glance of a young man, it is very fun. And some friend appreciates you. Hey, yes, you're doing very well, your dress is good. Or Gina Ratnakar, your shirt is beautiful. Or Shama, your haircut is excellent. Something like that. Someone praises your artistic abilities. But on the same day, some 3 things may happen. Your neighbor may pick up a quarrel with you. Or whatever the vegetables and fruits you have ordered online are not fresh. There is a small clash of ideas between you and your friend. Friends, remember, the question here is, would you like to spoil your mood and mental balance thinking of these 3 negative things or dwell on 30 positive things that happen? Please remember, choice is yours. But one thing I would like to tell you here, the negative bias is our tendency, not only to register negative stimuli, and only to dwell on that is very common. This negative bias means that we feel this sting of rebuke more powerfully than we feel the joy of it. In almost any interaction, we are most likely to notice the negative things and later remember them more vividly. As humans, scientifically, study has proved, we remember negative experience better than positive. Recall insults better than praise. Feel strongly to negative stimuli. Think about negative things more frequently than positive ones. Respond more strongly to negative events than equally positive ones. In a wonderful psychological study conducted by psychologist John Casipro, participants were shown positive and negative neutral figures. When they checked their brain activity stimulated very strongly when they have seen negative images more than the positive or neutral images. But then, how to overcome the negative acts? These are the following steps you can take. Negative self-talk. Please pay attention to the type of thoughts that run through your mind after an event takes place, after you face a situation. You might be thinking, I should not have done that. This negative self-talk shapes how you think about yourself and others. A better tactic is to stop those thoughts whenever they begin, instead of fixating on past mistakes that cannot be changed. Consider what you have learned, how you can apply it in future. The second is reframe the situation. In each situation, if you see the holistically, there will be some negative things, some positive things, some neutral things. Most of the time, we try to concentrate on the negative things. Reframe the situation means keep it aside. And I'm not saying don't neglect them, but Try to concentrate on positive things, automatically your thoughts will change. Please remember, this doesn't mean ignoring potential dangers or wearing rose-colored glasses. It simply means refocusing so that you give fair and equal weight to both good and bad. Another point is establish new patterns. When you find yourself thinking of whole things, negative things, and feeling bad, look for uplifting activity so that you can come out of the negative mindset. For example, if you find yourself mentally reviewing some unpleasant event or outcome, consciously try to redirect your attention elsewhere and engage in activity that brings you joy. Friends, till now, any questions or clarifications? Because another three concepts I'll cover, and I close the session for the benefit of discussion. That's it. Sunanda, any questions are there?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, concept number 7 is limiting beliefs. Actually, when I've gone through what I referred about limiting beliefs, I was surprised. I was consciously not aware of this concept of limiting beliefs. These limiting beliefs are a collection of opinions of ourselves and others that constrain us in some way. The stronger the belief, the more evidence we seem to find to support it, despite the fact that the vast majority of limiting beliefs are simply untrue. These beliefs are formed unconsciously based on our life experience from the childhood. Because as a child, our perceptions are limited because you can't see in the dark. We are not like a sniffer dog to steal everything. And most of the time, as our sensory organs also take limited things. But with all these things, we cement these beliefs in our minds through repeated thoughts once we have decided that the opinions must be true. Working through your limiting beliefs can have a profoundly positive impact on your self-confidence and personal empowerment. Please remember, when you are having beliefs in life, they do not include the whole picture. That is why most of the time people say develop a holistic view. Your beliefs do not reflect all that knowable about reality. They are not facts. Please remember, they are just unconscious constructions. The whole reality is unknowable. No one human being understands it entirely. In fact, from what we have been able to experience, the reality is fundamentally shaped by the limitations of our perceptive system. As I said, we don't have world-class sniffers. Our eyes cannot see in the dark. Each of us is limited in the way we actually know about the world because we have not been designed to perceive it all. In fact, scientists are convinced that the amount of information we consciously perceive is extremely small. According to neuroscientist Martin Zimmerman, can you imagine, we only perceive around 40 bits of information per second, while the sensory systems are picking up information flow at the rate of 11 million bits per second. What does it mean? 40 bits per second they are picking up, whereas 11 million bits per second are coming to our sensory system. This implies that really only a teeny portion of information is available to us in a process of a consciousness. The phrase, please remember, I am right, you are wrong, is the typical expression of our tendency to attack others' opinion. I think it must be true. Therefore, if you think differently, you are wrong. In our culture, we tend to hold opinions in very high regard. If I see something in a particular way, what I think is right and so I am right. But if we attach to that way of thinking, we take it absolutely valid, we will find ourselves in conflict with those who think differently. Very casually I am putting, the whole of country is divided into Modi, pro-Modi and anti-Modi. I am not going to discuss much about it. These pro-Modi fellows cannot convince anti-Modi fellows. Anti-Modi's fellows cannot convince pro-Modi fellows because of the limiting belief. In this connection, I would like to tell about a case. Once a Brahmin scholar, Raymond Dandapan, most of the people would have heard about him, is very famous in Tarka. Actually, Dandapan means a person carrying a stick. He was a professional debater. We came to know about Buddha's reputation and came to ask him, Dear sir, what is your philosophy? What kind of teaching do you proclaim? What kind of views do you assert? Buddha, being a very quick judge of human character, said, sir, I proclaim such a teaching that espouses or supports non-contention or non-argumentative with anyone in the world. Please understand. Buddha said very wisely, I proclaim such a teaching that espouses or supports non-contention, no argument with anyone in the world. And the account says, the story says, Dandapani then clicked his tongue, his brow puckered into three furrows, and wagging his head from side to side, with nothing to say, he went away and left the Buddha by himself. Later on, the Buddha described this encounter briefly to his disciples and said, when the mind doesn't grab hold of things, when you don't find anything, any opinion, any fixed position to derive in, to argue with, then that is what brings about the end of quarrels and end of disputes. Please remember, most of the time we think if you think differently from me, you are wrong. Therefore, I will try to convince you, you try to convince. But these things are not going to work out unless you think that your beliefs are limited by your perception. Please remember here, if you had a heated argument with someone for 10 minutes, you are responsible for 8 minutes. Understood what I said? If Dandapani and Buddha are going to discuss, argue, it may take days and hours. How Buddha has tackled? In 2 minutes, he tackled issue. Therefore, whenever you are having, remember, heated argument with anybody, please, within a minute or two, you should know that you are having heated argument. He is arguing from his limiting belief side, and you are arguing from your limiting belief side. Therefore, close the argument and say thank you. Therefore, if you are having 10 minutes heated argument, that means you are responsible for 8 minutes. Now, this is another concept which I have changed recently. It is known as fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Recently, one of my friends who was having a dip in the career, he was worried, he was really in a very, very bad shape psychologically. He was feeling bad. How this situation happened? Why this thing has happened to me? What mistake I have done? And he said, I am depressed. Then another friend suggested him, why don't you go to a psychologist or a psychotherapist? Then when he went to psychologist and a psychotherapist, that psychotherapist asked him, do you think that you are depressed? He said, yes. Then he said, why don't you think on these lines? His therapist brought his concern and he used the term, depressive mindsets are not proper. I encourage my friend to think of himself as being depressed, which tends to feel like actually a temporary state. If you say I am depressed, you are talking to the fixed state. It is going to be continuous. If you say at this point of time I am feeling depressed, you are giving power to yourself to make it possible. But you will be thinking that what happened here is really just semantic, that there is no real difference between experiencing the symptoms of depression and being depressed. But think about it. Is not there a difference between saying sometimes I procrastinate and I am procrastinating, or sometimes I get angry and I am angry person? It is not there a difference between saying right now I am struggling with a depressive mindset and I am depressed. Both are different. Yes, they are just words, but using and identifying labels for our negative emotions and behavior can be critically limiting factors. While sometimes labels are helpful in helping us to recognize and understand what is happening to us, they can also restrict us, define us in a fixed way, creating a belief that we are incapable of change. Intuitively, my friend knew there was something dangerous for him about labeling himself as helpless. And it may result in his believing that being depressed was who he was rather than a transitional state that he was experiencing. He also knew that this label might make it even more difficult for him to do anything about the current state. Please remember, being painted in broad strokes as labeling as depression, depressed, or saying I'm falling to the different. When you say I'm depressed, I'm angry person, then you are representing from your fixed mindset. But what does it really mean to have a fixed mindset? And are we capable of doing anything about it? In a very popular book by name, Mindset Change the Way You Think to Fulfill Your Potential, Stanford psychologist Harold Dweck proposes there are two basic mindsets that control how most people see things. Please remember, every person, those who believe that their intelligence, character, and personal qualities are innate and unchangeable, please know there are fixed mindset. And this is not what I'm saying. Famous Stanford psychologist Harold Dweck is saying. Those who believe that their initial talents and aptitudes are temperaments are things that can be cultivated through effort and perseverance are set to our growth mindset. How did these two mindsets, which we begin to manifest from very early stage, spring a great deal of our behavior? Our relationships, they define our relationships with success and failure in both personal and professional. And according to Harold Dweck, even our capacity to happiness is being affected by fixed mindset or growth mindset. If you have read the book or any related articles on the topic, you already know there is a plenty of evidence to suggest that if you want to be successful in life, at work, even in love, in relationships, we need to approach each day with a growth mindset. This is at least in part because the great hallmark of this mindset is the conviction that human qualities like intelligence and creativity, and even our relational capacities like love and friendship can be cultivated through effort and deliberate action. Unlike a fixed mindset, a growth mindset thrives on challenges and sees struggle as opportunity for growth and for stretching out existing abilities. When we approach life this way, we are not as afraid of taking risks or being vulnerable with our creativity. Here we have to make a note that we move out of both fixed and growth mindset with some frequency and sometimes without a lot of awareness that we have done so. One reason for this is that all of us have fixed mindset in us. When we face a challenge or receive criticism or a threat, or when we fare poorly when compared to others, we can easily fall into the insecurity or defensiveness, and this is a response that inhibits our growth. To remain in growth zone, we have to identify it and work with this together. Final word. The bottom line is there for all of us can benefit from learning to recognize when our fixed mindset person shows up and what it says to make us feel threatened or defensive. We can notice the tightness in our body when we are clinging to a view or feeling self-righteous about a thought position. Most importantly, and little ironically, we need to remember to bring growth mindset to each situation. Please remember that with some deliberate effort and extra work, we can evolve this more of being in growth mindset, which will ultimately allow us to reach us our high potential. Now, I am coming to the last but one concept of the mind. Most of the time in our life journey, we will be facing different situations. Sometimes challenging situations, sometimes threatening situations. Take for example, you went for a promotion. You got promoted. Out of 10, only you got promoted. You feel as if you are at the top of the world. And you feel the world. You feel that you are at the top of the world mountain. You feel you are the president. You are the most important person in the organization, in the bank, in the company. And you are topper in the class. Out of 50 students, you got first class. And you feel Pradama. This feeling of Pradama comes when we are number one at that point in our own estimation. But there are times when we feel utterly hopeless and absolutely incapable to manage the situation or face the challenge, and end up with the feeling of worthlessness and hopelessness. This I call it as Adama feeling. Adama feeling, Adama feeling. Adama means at the lowest, Nadi. And plasma means at the top of the field. That is why, friends, I advise everybody to carry two chips, one in the left pocket, another in the right pocket. One will read, I am Pradhama, and another will read, I am Aham. But please remember, life is full of surprises, and we vary between the two extremes of Adama and Pradhama. Please remember again, there is no correct point between these two extremes, and we should develop the attitude of doing our best in any given circumstance. It is pertinent to note here that in any given circumstance or situation, the outcome depends upon three. One is our efforts, another is contribution by others, and third, personal I believe, a mysterious force which sometimes makes our effort to succeed and sometimes it works against us. You may call it as intervention of God or destiny, and we should be in a position to accept the outcome which is planned. Here it is pertinent to quote sloka from Bhagavad Gita, which is as follows. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma kalesha kadachana ma phala karma heturu samanosta karma. What is the meaning of this? Please remember, you have the right to perform your prescribed duty only, but never to its full. Let not the fruits of action be your motive, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Again, remember, you will do your best and leave the result to your effort, contribution by others in a mysterious way. I strongly believe in this. Now, last concept I am coming. Sunanda, are we having time? Sunanda? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That I will try to cover it and we will close it with for discussion.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, this is the concept of GFA. Everybody is above 60. Below 60 also they can follow this concept. But anybody who is above 60 or retired, it is surely, fully applicable to them. What is GFA? As we grow, one important thing we have to learn is how to gracefully fade out. As we grow older, we should be in a position to gracefully fade out. What does it mean? And most of the time, when I was young in the band, I have seen a lot of retired people coming and trying to talk to their old friends who are still working without realizing they are disturbing them. I used to wonder why these people are coming to the band, though they have retired 3 years back, 5 years back, 6 years back. And please also remember, there are parents who try to give unasked advices to their children, who have grown up and having their own family setups, their own children. And there are grandparents who hanker for attention from their grandchildren, forgetting that the grandchildren have grown up and having their own interests, friends, circles, activities. You have seen the grandchildren, if you are having grandchildren, you know they are more interested in Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all those things, TikTok, and etc. Youngsters and kids, please remember, look towards future, and parents and grandparents look into past and recollect their sweet memories with their children and grandchildren. It is time for them to realize that they have to rework their lifestyle and learn to live with the present realities. In this connection, following few steps may alleviate the lack of connection. And please remember that it is never too late. You might think, if you have not adopted a healthy lifestyle by your mid-20s or 30s or 40s, that there is probably not much you can do, especially if there is a risk of long-term illness like cancer or diabetes in your family. Nothing can be far further from the truth. Throughout your life, please remember your brain is constantly changing due to its neuroplasticity, always in search of new connections. You can start good habits at any point of time and turn them into lifelong routines while enjoying the benefits of eating a healthy food. Please remember, not junk food, healthy food, and doing regular exercise. Please keep yourself optimistic. This may look obvious or maybe hard, but when you hear about the benefits, you may find it hard not to be optimistic. Studies consistently show that optimistic people tend to live longer and more meaningful lives. The optimistic people tend to be more physically active and they regularly meditate, and they are less likely to suffer from chronic illness like heart disease. To put that in perspective, one study followed men and women over a period of time. The study revealed that persons identified as optimistic, please remember, were 55% less likely to die during the period of the study, which is spread over a number of years. And the risk of dying from heart failure was 23% lower than of their more pessimistic competitors. Please remember third idea, GFA, the third idea. Find something you love and do. If an active life story is something you can do, then it is not too late to take up a new hobby. Or simply volunteer. Essentially, give your life a purpose. And you will realize that many people who volunteer do so to give back to their community. Others still act out of desire to help others. Regardless of the reason, you take the focus on your own trouble and act selflessly. Help Wesley. If possible, I want you to read the book by name Man's Search for Meaning. It is written by Viktor Frankl, one of the Nazi victims. He was in Jewish camp for a long time, and he has developed a theory known as logotherapy. It has become almost as famous as Freud psychoanalysis. This is known as logotherapy. I'm not going to talk about it. Maybe some other time I will talk about it. If possible, try to get this book, Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl. Now, fourth point, exercise after. Try to get at least an hour of physical activity each day. If it doesn't have anything strenuous, even walk through the neighborhood park or morning spent doing some simple gardening and yard work is enough to stay active. Aside from the obvious health benefits, stimulating blood flow and regulating body temperature, the build-up of muscle mass can also help your metabolism, allowing it to better absorb medication because after 60, definitely will be taking blood pressure tablet or cholesterol tablet or diabetes. Medication, the way you would have younger age. That means if you regular exercise, absorption of medication is not always. Benefits extend beyond the physical, as studies show that exercises improves our cognitive abilities as well. Moreover, researchers are now seeing correlation between increased activity and lower risk of dementia. Please, fifth point under GFA. Develop a passion. Try to recollect those things you wanted to do, but could not do due to a busy work schedule when you're in office, when you're in a company, when you're not working, or whatever it is. And try to revive interest in them and follow them with passion, with love, with commitment. Learn some instrument like veena, violin, guitar, harmonium, or drums. Learn new language, painting, or bonsai. Join some book reading club. One can also participate in Viganasana classes, as I am doing now. One can join some reputed foreign university to pursue subjects of one's own choice. The best website, as far as I know, is Coursera. I have done a course from Texas University, Rice University, on mindfulness. Now I am planning to do positive psychology from Pennsylvania, as our Sunanda has said. Now, sixth, socialize. Please keep an open network of friends. Above all, one of the most significant causes of dementia and other health complications is loneliness. In analysis of over 148 studies, following a total of 3 lakh people, concluded that those who forged a strong social relationship had the greatest chance of survival and happiness. Aside from learning new skills, a great deal of connections from your brain and human relationships form. Reason enough for why you need to regularly call up your friends and meet them for a cup of coffee. According to Juliana Hall Armstrong, a study led others. I'm talking about the study, the 3 lakh people went for their studies. This Juliana Hall Armstrong, lead author of this study, said, when someone is connected to a group and feels responsibility for other people, that sense of purpose and meaning translates to taking better care of themselves and taking fewer risks. Finally, a good night rest. Remember, you should have 8 to 9 hours good rest. This can never be too strongly emphasized. All too many adults suffer from lack of sleep. As we age, we tend to sleep less deeply. The result of the brain produces less melatonin. There is also a possibility for why our sleep cycle change when we behave, getting tired earlier in the evening and waking up early in the morning. So setting aside a particular time in the evening to fall asleep is important. Even better you take afternoon from towards night. In addition to tiredness during the day, sleep deprivation is associated with attention and memory problems. Finally, concept of final I'm going to say. As we grow, our sense of reality begins to change. How we used to perceive things as exciting fades away like a distant hum, and we are introduced to a bizarre of ideas of the never-ending race for survival. The present day people say, they tell you, survival is the key. Survival is the fittest. You have to survive, keep surviving, so on and so forth. Let me ask the question, basic question. Survival from what? Please remember, I'm talking about 60 years ago, not the youngsters. My dear, there is no apocalypse you have to overcome. It is just your life. Life is beautiful, no matter what set of colors you hold in your hand. So, friends, live with all your heart and don't just survive. In this connection, I recommend you to read the book Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Ronnie Ware. I have gone through it, and he has interviewed a lot of people in the book. She found a number of reasons why they have regrets. She put them and she talked about top 5 regrets. My friends, as we come to an end, thank you very much. Any feedback, any questions, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions, friends?
No questions.
Thank you very much for a wonderful session.
Thank you very much, sir.
Beautiful.
I could not write the name of the first book you gave, so I want to write that name also. Please, will you please repeat and give us 2 names? Man's Search for Meaning. Right.
Viktor Frankl,
Victor,
Man's Search for Meaning. Is that book you are referring to? Neelam?
Anji,
Are you referring to I am okay, you are okay, and staying okay? Which one you are referring to?
Top 5 Regrets of the Dying.
Brown. I'll go back to it. Anybody has made a note of it? 1 second, I'll tell you. 1 second. The top 5 regrets of the dying by Bronnie Ware. Bronnie. The top 5 regrets of the dying by Bronnie.
Regrets of the Dying. What's the name, please?
Top 5 regrets of the dying by Bronnie Ware. Friends, she is Neelam and she participates in every discussion. She is not as young as you. I feel very proud of her. You see, she is asking question. What are those books? Top 5 regrets of the dying by Bronnie.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And I'm very proud of her. Every time she is there. Hats off to her. My namaste to Neelam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Any other questions from others? We will close this session. Sunanda, any questions? Any clarifications? Patil, Shashidhar Patil, you unmute yourself. Unmute. Shashi, I would unmute. Shashidhar Patil is from Gulbarga, from Karnataka.
Sir. Good evening, sir.
He has skipped his meditation session and he said he would attend the session. Thank you, Shashi.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All my friends have skipped something to attend to my session. I am thankful to all of them. Sunanda, now it is yours. You can close the session.
So please start sharing.
Pardon? Stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
I thank you. Okay. No, I'm still learning from Sunanda, Shweta, and Merlin how to operate this computer. That is why reasonably well I have done. I hope so. What, Merlin?
So it is a wonderful session, sir. I am Shankaran from Trivandrum. Very wonderful and useful session. And on this, today is actually the Gayatri Japa day, sir. We have stressed the importance of reciting and chanting Gayatri mantra. And in fact, most of us have added 1008 times today the Gayatri mantra and felt and found out that your statement is absolutely true, sir. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. Sunanda, any other question? Yamal, I'm very happy that you are there. All my bank people are there. I'm very proud of them. And great to see all of them. Sunanda?
Yeah, thank you, sir. It was a fantabulous session. We thoroughly enjoyed. You shared your knowledge, wisdom.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Only
Yeah,
one thing I want to tell you. You
Yes,
joined this Deccan Positive Mental Health group. My PPT will be there in that group. You can download and keep it with you. And tomorrow I'm going to put the PPT in the Deccan Positive Mental Health group. Sonanda has given the chart link. You can click it and join. Then automatically this PPT will be available to you. Or by chance, if any problem is there, you send a WhatsApp to me. I will send you PPT by WhatsApp to you, including Neelam Dhamija.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Sunanda, go ahead.
yes. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very
Nice
much.
seeing you, Ananta.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Merlin, are you there?
Yes, yes. So,
Yes,
sir,
please.
Gunakarat, on behalf of Deccan Positive Mental Health and all the participants gathered here, I'd like to give you my heartfelt thank you. Those 10 secrets are very, very valid and practical of how we can apply to our life. We put a lot of emphasis on mindset and building our own self personally, because happiness is not out there, it is within ourselves. And those quotes that we put up, as a man thinketh, so is he. And I think so. That is why I am. The quality of your life and happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. Yeah? And at the end, also the concept we spoke about, pradhama, adhama. How we need to keep ourselves humble, not be completely overinflated with our ego and feel low also, but keep ourselves humble in between. Then the gracefully fade away, where you discuss in detail about passion and finding meaningful life. I think that is something that we all need to find, because others we just running in the rat race day in day out, and we are just existing, not really living. So it was very meaningful. You explained in a very simplistic manner, and these concepts, some people may have read it somewhere, but there's always a knowing and doing gap. It's best when you are applying it. And from the experience we have with you, you are the person who applying it on a daily basis. I can say that you're a happy person, and you like to share your wisdom with everybody else. So thank you so much, and thanks all the participants here. Thank you for your interaction and your patience and being part of this wonderful seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends. Goodbye to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Happy
thank you,
weekend.
sir. Thank you.
അഞ്ച് നല്ല സെഷൻ അത് വണ്ടർഫുൾ സെഷൻ ഇത്ര വയസ്സായിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ അഞ്ചര ആര് ആ ആര് ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു പേഷ്യൻ അവിടെ